All right, it's show number 152, and after a whole host of technical difficulties that, cross your fingers, won't happen anymore during the show, Tim and I are here.
Good evening.
Tonight we're going to do something that I have never done before. I know a lot of other photographers are nervous about doing it. Tim, you've done it.
I've done it.
I have never done it. I have never felt comfortable enough doing it. Tonight I'm going to do it live for the first time.
That's crazy.
But not on my main camera. I really wanted to do this where I had it tethered to my computer so I could do a live shoot. We could see it come up in Lightroom and you'd be able to see it. But this camera, which is Nikon D2X, does not live tether with Lightroom. And I thought maybe it was just me. Maybe I was doing something wrong, but I looked it up online and sure enough, it doesn't do it. And since this is an old camera, there's no chance that Lightroom is going to be adding that later on as a feature. So I just want tether. So what we're going to have to do is do what we're going to do, then take the shot, and then manually you pull it up the normal way in Lightroom. And what I'm talking about is cleaning your sensor. I have always been very worried about doing that, Tim. And I know, Tim, you did it with this.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
There it is. That's what I have.
Mine is a little bit different than yours because I ordered the wrong thing, but it's basically the same thing. I didn't have the little static charge thing in there. This one is the kind of ones that I've always heard about, and that is where it has a liquid. You put it on the little brush, and then you brush.
Right. That's what I have because I have the liquid at the top of mine in the back, the little bottle.
Yeah, but what
I did it so long ago I forgot about it. Forgot what I did.
And if you're wondering what this big thing is up here behind me,
it's a graduation cap that's on your head, isn't it?
Most people, some people know what that is. If you're audio listener, like every week, I apologize for most of this being where you need to see us visually, but I know that we have a large following of audio only listeners. So I'll do my best to describe what's going on. But what we're talking about doing here is I'm going to clean my sensor, my D2X, but not with the thing that Tim did, because I'm not as brave as Tim.
Oh, come on. Don't be a chicken.
Even with my secondary camera, I'm not as brave. So what we're going to use is, I've heard this is what Nikon uses. This is like a little gel stick. And you're supposed to just
talked about that the last time, yes.
I've ordered it. I have it now. And we're going to give it a try.
See, and I get a little worried about that because I feel like you're jabbing the dust into your sensor.
Well, or if it's really sticky, is it going to pull up something it shouldn't be pulling up? Is where I'm afraid. So if that happens tonight, that camera's gone.
Quickly pull the plug on the show.
Yeah, maybe I had
due to operating difficulties.
Maybe I had a sign I shouldn't be doing this with all the difficulties we had at the start of the show. This might be the latest start we've ever got, like 20 minutes late.
Oh, absolutely, this is
the latest in 152 shows. This is probably the latest we ever started. But seconds before we were going to go live, I had a major crash. So that's pretty good. And in the whole time, Tim, never lost communication with you.
No, we stayed live.
It's a miracle. All right, so what do I want to do here? Oh, I want to show you. First thing I want to do is show you the before image.
Right.
So let me get, where is that? Here's Lightroom. I'm going to pull up the before image. And I don't know how well you can see this. But
I see a couple of dots almost dead to the left half side of the screen, guys. One dark and then several gray ones.
So I'm going to make it a little bit easier for you. I did something yesterday. How do I make this bigger?
Up top left, the 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio.
Not that. I want to make I need to see everything. So, okay, if I go over to, trying to see this, looking through something here. If I go over to the blacks.
Oh, wow.
If I go over to the blacks and just pull the blacks all the way to the left, I don't really care what this image looks like. I don't care if anything about this image other than show me my dust spots. So what I've done here is I've gone all the way to the blacks in Lightroom. And Tim, now you can clearly see all of them, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot there. This is the problem when you take a picture. If you take a picture indoors with a lot of a lot of changes in it, you're probably not going to notice the vast majority. If you take a picture with the sky in it, a blue sky, you're going to see all of these dots.
A lot of what I shoot, like you're saying there, Tim, is I'm more wide open.
Right.
And
when you're wide open, that's when it happens.
And when you're wide, well, no, it's the opposite. When you're wide open, you don't see them.
Oh, that's right. When you stop down, I'm sorry. When you have like f/22, and you're trying to get that everything in focus, it literally gets everything in focus.
So right. So I don't notice a lot of it, but you're right. When I go to take landscape shots and I have sky in the landscape, I see all these little dots, and I don't know how well you can see all of them in the view that we're doing here.
Well, I probably see
you see the big
20,
guys.
30, yeah.
You see the big guys. There's a lot more than just that. There's quite a few there.
And if you looked at the sensor with your naked eye, you wouldn't see anything there.
Yeah, I wonder if we could see like some of the really big ones.
I don't think you will.
I have seen, when I've had something huge on there, I have seen it. But you're right. Most of the time, you can't. These little guys, you don't see them. What you think you see when you open up the camera is you see stuff on the mirror.
Right.
Maybe not in your case, but in my case, you see stuff on the mirror, and that's not what we're seeing here. All right, so let me bring us back to us, and then I'm going to. What do we want to do here? Let's take a look at the camera, and I'm going to use.
Now, what did you? All right, what have you tried to clean it with so far? Anything?
Nothing. I've not done anything. So you want to try this first?
Yep, that's what I would try with first.
Okay, so let's switch over to that camera. And I'm going to have to turn on the big light behind me. So, switch over to this camera. Give me a second.
Wow, very nice. I like it.
That's not too bright on behind me. No. You can still see me behind me, Tim.
I can see behind. Yeah, that's not the worst.
Yeah, but that's a pretty good.
Obviously, you wouldn't want to broadcast a show like this, but
that's a pretty good camera angle. Let's get rid of the lower third. Yeah, I don't know if I want to keep this like this all the time because I'm like closed in right here. I have hardly any room to move. But I need to move my mic so I can still talk. Going to remove the lens. I don't know how well you can see in there, but what I need to be doing here, you're not going to be able to see this well on camera, is doing this upside down.
Upside down, so any dust falls out, not settles back on. Correct.
So I'm doing this with the mirror still up, and then what I need to do is turn the camera on, and then go to the menu and mirror lockup. Start. Now, when I press the shutter button, the mirror is going to open, and now I have access directly to the sensor. But again, I need to hold it upside down and try and get out what I can get out, and hope I don't blow any more into there.
Now the rocket filter I have actually has a filter on the front side and the back side, so you're not forcing dust into it. That's why they say make sure you buy one of those quality rocket filters, because some of them have maybe some sort of powder inside it, so you're squirting stuff into your lens.
Well, why don't I switch this back to us?
Now, a question was asked by Alicia. What did you take a picture of? Was that a white wall?
Well, in this room, there are no white walls. So this is where this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. So I'm going to take a picture of a piece of, what do you call that? Foam core that I have here. But
yeah, I know you're talking about that the kids use for their school projects.
This.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a picture of that, but it's in a somewhat dark area, so it's not going to show up that well. So, Tim, why don't you show us what you have? That little thing that you have, while So
now, as I was showing Mike before, my first try was also, I have a rocket filter. Now, I bought this. It's called the Zeeon, Z-E-E-I-O-N, and it's the same type of rocket filter that Mike has, but the addition that I bought with it was because I was a little afraid of sticking anything in by my sensor. This little attachment, which has on it, you can see, put it on the wall behind me. It has a spring on it. You stick the rocket attachment into the back of it. It has a little spring at the very top of it. And now what this part here is, it's the same size as my lens mount. So when I stick it into my camera, you can't stick it in any further than the lens of the camera, so you cannot reach your sensor. So this part here is actually made specifically for my Sony lens mount, and they sold different ones. I think it was probably a $15 or $20 addition on top of the rocket. Now I used it. I must have had a lot of dust on my lens, and it took off some of the dust. Definitely made an improvement. But when I was taking pictures of the sky, or in my case, I was taking a picture of a white wall, I still saw some dust on my screen, and that's why I jumped up to the next level, which we will talk about after this. Unless Mike just fixed it, and we have nothing to talk about.
So I'm going to try and import that. Remember the time before I did an import, and I had to create I didn't turn off my normal settings, and it created all the different views you can do when you import images with Lightroom. So what happened when I did that is the audio sync was out of sync for the rest of the show. It took some editing to get that fixed because we went up to 100% CPU. Let me see here. So it is this. I'll bring us back to where you can see Lightroom. And I don't want that one. I want the one I just took. What order? What? 202. Okay, here we go. Image. Develop module. Yeah, we just went to 100% CPU. So there we go. I'm going to be doing editing again. All right. So then I'm going to come over to the blacks. Do that. It actually got better. Forget the little part at the top. I think I got something extra there. But let's go back to.
Yeah, compared to the original, absolutely.
Let's go back to the collection here, so we can look at both of them again. So do back and forth.
Well, those two are exactly the same place.
Yep. I don't want to do before and after. I want to do. Forget that. We'll do it this way. So that's before. That's after. And I know that the brightness is different. I'll lighten it up. So what did we lose? We lost a bunch of the little things.
We lost a lot, yeah.
Yeah, look at all the little things.
Some of the big ones.
Yeah, but
that one almost
there's that one
center.
pesky one right in the center that we didn't lose, but I lost quite a few of them. A lot of little bitty ones that are hanging out. You can't see my mouse, but hanging out on the left-hand side along the edges, one here near the top, and especially that big one. But you can see some other things like little squigglies. Those things are gone. So that did quite a bit, more than I thought it would do.
I'm impressed, yeah. Now, you haven't done that in a long time, I guess?
Yeah, I haven't done that, even that, in a long time. So, the before, the after. And we're only looking at the dots here. Don't worry about it's not the same color and that kind of stuff. We're only looking at the dots here. Really big improvement just from using this.
See, now that would make me wonder, would I try to do that again versus going to the second step?
I don't have to go through all that process again, Tim. and not the process of squeezing this, process of bringing it all back in and everything. I'm thinking that I hit it pretty hard with this thing. I'm thinking that I'm not going to get rid of that spot there.
That one in the middle you're not getting rid of.
Yeah, so let's focus on that spot. I'll try and get some more when I go in there. So let's come back over to this shot, and you can see I do wear pants. I got some blue, I'm not color coordinated. Blue on top, blue on bottom. Yeah, I don't go outside like this. But Forget that part. So let's look at this thing. Nope, I'm not. You don't know what I was talking about. There. Now you can see the blue on blue, and they clash. They don't go good together.
Right.
I need to turn off this light though. All right, so now you can
much better.
Now you can see this better. We're going to need a light on when we go back to the camera. So I'm going to take.
Now, how much was that?
You would ask me, and I do.
Well, you know, if I didn't, somebody in chat was.
I do have
saying,
it. I do have it pulled up here. So.
And of course, if you do go purchase this, you should get it from Amazon at the jpeg2RAW link.
You mean that link right there?
Yeah, that would be the one.
Yeah, jpeg2RAW.com/Amazon. So this is the sensor gel stick, and I got it for $42.99 on Amazon.
And it looks like they're doing it on a Sony.
They are, and they're wearing special gloves that I don't have. So
yeah, and they're in a dust bunny room too.
Yeah, they're probably dust-free room where I got a ceiling fan over me that's probably just spewing out dust everywhere. I'm in a dust storm basically in here. All right, so let's go back to this. And I'll try and hold it somewhat here in the center. And as you can see, this is my first time opening this too. Oh, look at that. It comes in a little metal case.
It's a little unboxing.
Little metal case. It says I lead.
I'm gonna guess you're gonna want to be very safe with this. Don't drop it to the floor where you pick up dust that you can place it everywhere.
Has some instructions. Tim, read that. All right, we're good. And then has the little dilly dod in a plastic. How do I open this? Hey, I just popped it open. Little plastic. Yeah, I don't think you want to touch that with your fingers.
No.
But it has a little plastic container here that I guess protects it. So we'll leave it in that for now.
Yes, I would agree.
And then
instructions?
No, that was instructions I just threw away a second ago. All right, we're gonna move this out of the way. I think this, if I remember somebody else talking about, this must be the strip that you stick this in the camera and then tamp it on there. And I'm thinking it's this side that I do that on.
As you just picked up dust on the other side.
Yeah, because that side's kind of rough. We're going to try it on this side. This is a show where we don't read instructions. We just trial and error. All right.
That's why you're doing it on an old camera.
Yeah, it's not what I want to throw away, though. It is a camera I still like. The Nikon D2X is a freaking awesome camera.
Is this the one that you were going to convert to infrared?
No, it's an older one than this. And I'll turn the light back on. This one it's a pro body. It's a solid body. I usually have an L bracket on it, but I needed to remove it for tonight. So one of the things I want to do is I'm going to remove the battery out of this thing. It's got a decent charge, but I want to remove the battery out of it because I have another battery that's got a 100% charge. I've fully charged this battery. I'm not going to be in there that long, so it shouldn't matter, but I want to make sure I got plenty of battery.
Right. I agree.
All right. Then we're going to remove the lens. Got to get situated. I'm not used to sitting over here.
Alicia's asked, how long have you had this camera that the sensor has not been cleaned?
Good
not
gosh.
Trying to point fingers.
I have had this camera. I really don't know. It's been at least probably 10 years. When did the D2? Wow. Find out when a D2X came out, and I probably bought it 2 years after it came out. So I've had it for a long time. And I've never cleaned the sensor on any of my cameras. The challenge here is going to be for me to be able to see into there without sticking my head in front of the camera. So I think right there. There we go. All right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it on. Go to the menu. Mine says mirror lockup.
D2X was released mid-2004. So, yeah, you could have this close to 10 years.
Yeah. Okay, good. Mine's in this one, it says mirror lockup. And I think on my my D700, it says something like sensor cleaning or something like that. So I'm going to go to mirror lockup. Waited too long. Mirror lockup. Start that. It says when shutter button is pressed, mirror lifts and shutter opens. To lower a mirror, turn camera off. So when we're done, we'll just turn the camera off. Right? The mirror now has popped up. And you can see straight into the sensor, can't you?
Correct. Straight down.
And let's get a little pad somewhere where I can touch it when I'm done.
Now, how many times do you plan on touching the sensor? And do you plan on going back and forth, touch a sensor to the white strip?
Yeah, well, this is going to be we'll see what happens as we go. Wait, I'm supposed to have a game plan?
Sorry.
All right. I wish I could see that dust. You think I should just pound around in there?
I would probably do that. I'd try to reach start from the top left corner and then overlap, I guess is what I would wind up doing.
All right, let's do that. Once I stick my thing in there, you may not be able to see real good, but I'll just start doing that. All right.
It looks relatively clear the whole way.
It does.
Until you stick your head over the top of it as you look in, of course.
Yeah. Let's say you cross your fingers.
Good luck.
I just feel funny doing this, but let's go.
I can see.
Oh, yeah, you can definitely feel the stickiness. Nothing. I don't feel the any kind of filter or anything there coming up.
Looks like you've pretty much got everything now.
All right, so let's click on this white paper. I don't see anything on the white paper. Interesting.
I wouldn't think you would see anything.
Let's do that one more time. That was so easy.
That's exactly what happened when I used it to clean my sensor. This was easy.
Let's do this again just to be safe. I'm going to overlap like Tim said. Can you still see in there, Tim?
Yeah, see, perfect. And the good thing is you're just going straight up and down. You're not twisting at all either.
Yep. All right. So I've gone over it twice. Let's see. Let's do a test now. Turn the camera off. It's back on. Memory back in. I just don't have to deal with this. I want to format this card so I don't have to. I only have one image to bring in. The one I'm about to take. This is riveting TV. Back to us. All right, I'm shooting these in case somebody is wondering. At f18, I do have to go up to ISO 800 just so that I can get some light in here. With this light on behind me, though, I do have a little bit more light in here, so maybe I'll get a better shot. The stuff we were looking at was not noise, though, earlier. That was dust.
Right, that was dust.
Helps to take the lens cap off.
And you have it stopped down to like f22, right?
I do, and because I'm shooting at a pure white board here, I can't focus, so I'm on manual focus.
Okay.
All right, now comes the big test.
All right, so now you got to upload it back into Lightroom, and
yeah, again, I can't.
And Juan mentioned that I should be using the orange gel stick for the Sony. Now I didn't. What I responded to Juan was I did not use the gel stick like you're using. I used the visible dust sensor brush and then the V swabs, and for me it worked very well. It cleaned my sensor. I did it last. It's probably September of last year, I guess, after I got back from a cruise where I saw all the dust in my pictures and I almost threw up because I had to, of course, edit every single one. But thank God Lightroom made it easy. But it worked. I have not needed it. I have not noticed it since then. And it's not something I want to do often. I am very cognizant now of when I change my lenses, where I change my lenses, make sure the camera's turned off, pointing down. Obviously, it can still happen. That's what happens when you're changing the lens on there. But you got to try and to pay attention to your surroundings. Don't do it when you're sitting at a beach or anything, of course, because you don't want to do this often if you'd have to do it at all. So, but for the people out there that may have this issue, the rocket blower that Mike did the first time, that really helped him. I'm hoping that using this gel stick helped. Otherwise, he may have to go to the V swabs, which would be the third step in this. And he's looking into me right now saying, yeah, no, that's not happening.
No, I'm not doing that. All right, so let's go. This image didn't come out quite as good, so I may have to take it again. But let's go to the original. I wish these were more consistent in the quality of the image. The original with dust freaking everywhere.
Yes, that's almost unusable for your camera at that point.
Yeah, that is just really bad. Then the second one where all I used was the rocket blower and got rid of quite a bit, except for some of the big guys. Really did good. And then the final one here, this is the one, I may need to reshoot this, but I can see, it's kind of hard maybe for you guys to see. There's that big one that was in the center, gone. There's one here.
But it looks like there's one down on the bottom.
There's one down on the bottom, and I can see also one almost parallel to it across the bottom. One on the left, one on the right. There's still those two. It looks like, though, almost everything else is gone. I've had to punch this up on the exposure, so I wonder, we may need to retake that photo. Let's do this.
But I mean, the camera's now usable again.
Yeah, I'm going to go, I wish I could see these because I'm not quite sure where they're at on the camera. I'm going to go back in. We're going to try and get those, and then I'm going to try and take a better picture so we don't have.
Right, you don't know if this is the top right, the top left, or whatever.
I know. So let's go back to the camera. I'm going to take the lens off again. This was so easy to do. I don't know why I was afraid to do it. I've never wanted to do this. We will go to mirror lockup. We've locked up the mirror. See that okay? I'm trying to look at it at angles to see if there's any way I can see that thing. But I just don't. So I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit the whole thing again.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
And you know what's funny is even when I put this thing on the, I don't know how hard I'm supposed to push this down, but after we're done, maybe I'll read the instructions. I'm just hitting it everywhere again. But I'm literally doing this for the first time ever, so no instructions.
This is interesting. What Juan had put out on as a link, there's an orange gel stick which is specifically made for Sony, and the first paragraph: after months of waiting for the manufacturer to modify the chemical properties of the sensor gel stick so that it works perfectly with the new Sony cameras. And heavy testing, happy to announce, blah, blah, blah. But that's interesting. I would not have thought that they're different because...
Maybe it's the stickiness or something.
Yeah, it's got to be something different because it definitely says sensor gel stick for Sony. Huh. I would not have known that. Why is there different? Because Sony uses new type of coating technology on its sensor filter pack, which grips onto the sensor gel stick too tight, making it difficult to use the product and sometimes even leaving residue. Sony's specific version that we will soon sell sticks normally on the filter surface and does a great job with collecting of the dust and debris. To differentiate between the two versions, we have asked the manufacturer to use a different color for Sony version, and we settled on an orange.
Interesting. So
yeah. So it looks like just Sony is the one that has the issue, and of course it's $5 more.
I don't have show notes for tonight, Tim. So if you could email that to me or do something so that I have it, I can include it in the show notes I'm going to create.
Yep.
Format the card. Okay. Just be so much easier if I could tether with Lightroom.
Oh yeah.
And you know how I am making these all in the same group, because after I import them, I put it into the quick collection. Yeah, quick collection, so they're all in one quick collection. All right, so I'm going to show us that. Bet we're going to have all kind of audio video sync issues because we keep hitting 100% as I fool around with Lightroom.
It's okay. Everybody listening to us live is happy.
All right, so this is the raw image. So I'm going to need to punch up the. It's still there. But look how. Oh, look, there's the toilet paper or something for blowing my nose. So
yeah, no, that one is still
there
move at all. Is that in the original picture?
Original picture? What do you mean?
Yeah, before you did any cleaning.
No.
I don't recall seeing that one.
No, this is a new one. Okay, here's the original.
Oh no, it is there.
Dust everywhere.
Yeah, but that's still in the same place.
Yeah, it's
same exact place.
This is the last one. Yep. So the sensors are actually really clean now, except for that one stupid spot. Let's make sure it's not actually on the lens. I'm gonna take my filter off.
Yeah, that would be smart.
And I'm going to just make sure this isn't on the lens. We're going to take a shot with my lens filter off, and I'm going to clean my lens here with the. Can't see it, but I'm going to clean the lens with my Gitzo. Lens looks really clean. It was in good shape already. Because I can't believe I couldn't get that thing up.
Yeah, that's.
If this thing turns out to be on the lens, that'll be.
Kick yourself in the butt.
That'll be something. And again, what I'm doing when I pull it in, in this case, I'm underexposing because there's not a whole lot of light in here. So I bump the exposure a little bit, and then I bring the blacks all the way down in Lightroom, and that's what's revealing that really makes the dust spot stand out. So I'm going to take another photo here of that white board. Now I got to go through the process of importing this again. So Tim, do you think that you will get the gel stick?
I don't know. I don't have an issue with my sense right now, but if I do have an issue, I might try that instead. I mean, it wasn't expensive, so I mean, it's not like it's costing me a whole lot of money. So,
and I'm sorry, guys, I'm having trouble keeping up with chat. So, Tim, if something's going on in chat,
yeah, no, I've been communicating with them mostly. Yeah, soak it in water to get the Brillo pad out.
That won't do any damage at all. You can buff that right out.
I wonder if the swab system would take the spot out better.
It might.
Gel sticks are sure easy. Now, the swab was easy for me. I really have to say. I mean, I used it. I don't know if I went over it once or if I went over it a second time. I don't remember. But I know using the rocket blower did not clean it out for me. Not nearly as well as yours did. I mean, I got rid of some, but it was still to the point where it was annoying for me. So I wound up redoing it with the V swab, and that worked perfectly to the point where it was almost brand new. And I actually at that point had considered sending my camera out, and I said to myself, well, what's the worst case? I make it dirtier, and then I send it out. Now, I don't think they would have charged me a difference in price whether it was dirty because of me or if it was dirty before, as long as I didn't damage it.
Yeah, now, one of the things you got to be careful about is it a dust spot or is it a spot on my monitor? So obviously what you would see would not be the spots on my monitor. I think it's still there in that one little lower right-hand corner.
Because I can barely see it in this picture that you're showing right now.
I'm gonna turn the exposure down so maybe you can see it better there.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Yep. It wasn't on my lens. It still is on the sensor. There's still one there.
Huh.
You can make it.
Yeah, no, I see it now.
I'm just playing around with some of the other Lightroom settings to see if there's a way to make it easier. Oh, not white. Yeah, so that one's still there, but man, did that really improve it, and it's really easy. I use lens pens. Alicia's asking. I use lens pens. I have it in my bag. That's back there. I'm going to turn this light off. I have a lens pens that I keep in the bag. I keep the jpeg2RAW rocket blower in there, not for the camera, but for the lenses, of course. I generally, although this camera's pretty dusty because I haven't used it in a while, I blow the outside of the thing too. And it does pretty good on the lens. I keep filters on my lens, a UV filter on all my lenses, not because I'm of the UV, but to protect it. And also I feel like in a pinch, I can rub it with my shirt where I would never do that with my lens. And if I damage this filter, I don't really care. So I keep a filter on there.
Right.
I have didn't drop. I set down my bag, and maybe in the last few inches I let go, and I heard glass break, and it was my 70-200, and I pulled it out, thinking, oh my god, my 70-200. I pulled it out, and it was a filter that had broken, and that could also damage your lens. You know that glass.
Oh yeah,
breaking,
the shock.
Yeah, all those little sharp pieces hitting your lens. It didn't do anything to my lens. My lens was fine, but it broke this filter. The one that goes in the 70-200. So I've always used them. I know some people like them, some people don't like them, but I do like them. So I will sometimes use lens pens on this too.
I don't know if my camera fell or it hit something, but for me it broke the shade, snapped the shade into it cracked that shade and destroyed it. But my lens didn't take the brunt of the fall.
Well, I like to use lens shades too, especially when you're outdoors. Yeah. And Alicia says, but sometimes you feel like dust gets in between. Yeah, you screw these things on fairly tight, and you think that I'm going to clean my lens perfectly, screw this thing on really tight, and bam, I'm never going to get dust on my lens. But dust somehow finds its way in that and gets...
You would think there'd be a rubber seal, but even... That's weird.
It gets in there. Maybe it can't be a rubber seal because it might create condensation that would get stuck in there or something. I don't know. But it finds its way in there. So, yeah, sometimes I got to take the filter off, clean the lens again, and clean both sides of the filter. So, yeah, I love the lens pen. I have the one where one side of it is a brush, one side of it is the little pen part. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I put that in the show.
Yeah, that's I have that. That's the lens pen where when you take it off the cap, it's actually pre-moistened inside the cap. It doesn't look like it at all. I know at least that's what it says. I probably have one right at the top of my my bag. I usually have it with me. Matter of fact, yeah. So the one side of it is the brush. Oh, there it is. So you have the brush that comes out here, but now the other side, when you take the cap off, it tells you that inside the cap, it's moistened in here for this pad, so that it's actually always a little bit wet, I guess is the way they put it. At least I remembered reading that.
Yeah, and it gets stuff off pretty good. Do you do the thing where you go like that? You breathe on it a little bit to create a little bit of moisture.
No, I don't think I've ever done that with this.
Oh, maybe that's just me.
No, I don't think I've ever done that. I also have one that's I bought. I think at the time it was a 3-pack for the lens pen, and one it's also meant to be used on the viewfinder because it's smaller. It fits inside the viewfinder area to clean your viewfinder because that gets a lot of people don't realize how dirty that gets inside.
Oh
there.
yeah, and I'll use the jpeg2RAW on that too.
Right.
Yeah, because you'll look through that and think you see dust. That's on
right
sensor, and it's really right there in front of you. Yeah. Well, I think that was a success. I didn't break the camera. I didn't pull off anything that shouldn't come off, and I got rid of a massive amount of dust.
Yes.
And really, with the one spot that's left, that's not bad. And I bet if I can ever figure out where that's at, I can put a little more concentration there. And then, maybe
Actually, read the instructions.
Reading these instructions may help. But when I did a really close inspection of this white sheet of paper, I did see some stuff on there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
And
now you got to toss that, otherwise you might be reintroducing it.
yeah, and on the stick, I actually saw some stuff on the stick too. So I'm betting that there's some. If this is like a lot of those little sticky things, you just rinse it off or something like that. But before I do that and throw away $40-something, I'm going to read this on how to clean this, and what I really should be doing, and then we'll see if I can get that last piece of
And it'll probably
dust
say
off.
do not overlap and
Yeah, but I'm not gonna make everybody sit here and watch me read, because that'd be horrible.
no, I'm glad that was successful.
That was. I now feel completely comfortable in telling people, don't send off your camera to get professionally cleaned unless you're going to hold me liable for any damage you do. Then send it off. But if you are just a tad adventurous, this little gel stick, super easy.
Absolutely. I think that's the right thing to do. I mean, I was so nervous about doing it, but like I said, I'm going to try it, and worst comes to worst, I don't get it off, then I send it out. So, and it's probably like $100 to send it out, I think is the number I was told. So, and then you're also out of your camera for 2-3 weeks minimum. So I was like, you know what, let me try it. And it worked. I don't think I had any dust left on there.
Somebody had said, I can't remember if it's in a Facebook group or if it's during one of the shows we talked about cleaning before. Somebody had said that this is the device, or something extremely similar to this, is the device that Nikon uses to clean their lenses. When you send it off to them, they use this to clean it. Now, I put up on the thing before. Let's go back to Amazon.
Yeah, I can't find the Sony specific one from Amazon.
I put up this before where you can see this thing on Amazon. It did take a while for me to get this. I ordered it it took maybe 2-3 weeks for it to come.
Where did it come from?
I think maybe this is the thing I ordered that came from Germany. I can't remember which. I ordered something that came from somewhere outside the country. And it took a while for it to come. So it says right there, it's not eligible for Prime.
Right. That's what I'm looking. I'm looking at a different one right now. I'm looking at the one you had, $42.99, sold by ACTC. Let's see, do they actually have any that are Prime?
I did see somewhere somebody in our Facebook group had posted that, hey, there are some knockoffs, so be careful which one you buy. If you're this one is $42.99. If you're finding something for $15, that may be a knockoff, so be a little careful. I'll be putting the link to the one I bought, and if we can find the one that's for the Sony, we'll put that there too in the show notes. But be careful and get the right thing before you stick it on your lens, your sensor.
I just sent it to you into the Skype chat.
Okay. All right. They show you some examples here. Oh, there we go. Look at that. That photo right there says, Mike, you did it wrong.
You need to peel this apart.
Okay, so for the audio listeners, yes, I did not read the instructions. I will do that later. There's an image right here. I didn't even have to read. I could have used pictures. I like my books to be 95% picture, 5% word. And here it is. Here's the picture. And what I did wrong was apparently the little white strips that you get to de-dust the little gel stick, you rip it apart. And
to show the sticky side.
Yes, like apparently there's a protection on there. And you rip it apart. And then that helps you get the dust off. Oh, yeah. There, look at that.
Yep, and 10 cleaning papers.
I will cut back to
that
us.
Is oh too funny.
And, yep, look at that, Tim. If I can get my finger there again. Boom, yep. Comes off.
So maybe later you should try it again.
So my theory is I was taking the dust off and just putting it back on. But, yeah. Okay, so I did that wrong.
That's all right.
I'll do this again off camera and try and get that last little piece off. But I wanted to do this without any instructions, without any pre-practice.
You got 90% of the dust.
I didn't even take this out of the box before the show tonight, and still It was super simple.
Yes. I would agree with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's really all I had. You know, was going to be a shorter show, Tim.
We're finishing it on normal time.
We're finishing on normal time after we started 20 minutes late because of technical difficulties.
Well, yeah, the good thing is we picked up a couple of people late on anyway. So,
yeah, I say our usual, Alicia, Gary,
right.
Juan, thank you for coming. We do
Juan,
this
the strong Sony user. You know, he's very smart out there in chat.
Yeah, those Sony users are pretty smart. Sony is pushing the market to make change.
I think so. And it doesn't look like Nikon, Canon want to follow that mirrorless. They just seem to be sticking with their cameras. Matter of fact, I am looking to buy a Nikon right now for myself. So
I think that established anything is resistant to change.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Nikon, Canon are established camera companies. They're resistant to change. They probably look down at Sony, but if they're not careful, they're going to be looking up at Sony and camera sales.
I agree.
So hopefully, you know, there's smart people there, and hopefully they'll realize that sometimes you have to cannibalize your own sales so that someone else doesn't do it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you have to do. You know, cameras really, if you look at some of the top end Nikon and Canon cameras, you know, where do they go from here?
I don't know.
I mean, how much ISO do you need? I think the last Nikon
hundreds
camera,
of thousands.
Yeah, it had over 100,000 ISO. Yeah, maybe some more dynamic range, that'd be good. Autofocus could always be a little bit better, but it's really good already. So, you know, how much more can you go there? So they may be running out of the revolutionary changes, and maybe that's one of the things they can do is move to mirrorless and smaller. But, you know, we all have this heavy investment in glass. I don't want my glass to not work.
No, and that's the reason I have not changed from the A77 to the A7 full frame, because of all my glass. And I know I could sell like my 7200. I probably can get 1500 for it, and then I'd pay the same price for a new one for the other one. But it's all the other things I have, and I really would like to switch, but it's a significant investment.
Yeah, yep, it is. Okay, so for our last thing, I will say that for our Windows users, and I know a lot of our people that are listening are not Windows users, they're Mac users, but I don't know what percentage-wise, because Mac still only has a small percentage of the market, but a lot of photographers use Mac. But if you're not using Mac, if you're using Windows, then you unless you live under a rock, you know that Windows 10 is out, and it's free if you already own Windows 7 or Windows 8, 8.1. So if you can't get, you know, if you looked online, looked on your computer and it says, we'll let you know when it's available, you can just wait if you want. Or there's a link, and I'll put it in the show notes here, where you can go. I downloaded it myself. It made a little USB. I used my own USB, made a little USB key, plugged it into my computer, and uploaded or updated 2 of my computers to Windows 10, and they're running, you know, solid, no problems at all. So if you're a Windows user, Windows 10 is what Windows 8 should have been, in my opinion.
Yes.
And it is not that hard as far as, you know, usability wise, to go from 7 to 10.
Well, I will be probably upgrading in the next couple of days. So
if you're going to ask me,
I've definitely asked it. So
yeah, if you're going to ask me why should I go to Windows 10, I'm not going to. This is not a review show of Windows 10, you know, photography show. And there's lots of stuff online for you to do that. If you're a gamer, then Windows 10 should be a no-brainer. Windows 10 makes some massive improvements for gamers, that things we never thought of. And I don't know how this affects us as photographers, but, you know, DirectX is a software interface. It's software, I don't know what it is. It's a piece of software that
it's almost
goes,
like a video codec, I guess.
It goes between the hardware, like the CPU and the software and the GPU. And every version of DirectX prior to Windows 10, no matter how many CPU cores you had, only sent one CPU core to the GPU at a time. And so it created this massive bottleneck. With this one, it doesn't matter how many CPU cores that you have; it sends all of them to the GPU. So
right, and I saw DirectX 12. They said some massive improvements.
So just massive.
Alicia does ask, have you tried your Lightroom yet on your Windows 10?
No, and I would say that in just a second. But I don't know if that affects us as photographers, whether Lightroom, it does anything like that, because I don't know if we probably don't use DirectX at all.
I don't think so.
The one downside for me, this may or may not affect you, but the one downside for me is they do remove Media Center from Windows 10. Not that I'm a big Media Center user, but Media Center had MPEG-2. It's a codec for video in it. And with Windows 10, you lose that codec. And the recording we do for this show, the software we use is called vMix. The recording we do for this show records in MPEG-2. It is the best. It's really the best balance between CPU usage, size of file, and quality of recording. It beats out in those three categories, in that qualification. It beats out AVI and it beats out H.264, who are either massive file size or massive CPU usage. So we have to record in MPEG-2, and Windows 10 doesn't have support for it. So the next version of vMix is supposed to have it built into it. So until that happens, I can't upgrade this machine, my main machine, which has Lightroom on it,
right,
to Windows 10, which just really stinks. But the other machines I've done have worked fine.
I'm hoping I don't have that. I don't think I'll have that issue with what I do. So
as soon as I can upgrade this one, I tell you I will.
Yeah, and I'm using Windows 8.1, and I can't say it's as bad as they've said it was.
Oh no, 8.1 is really good.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't have the start menu, but you know what? You hit the Windows button, you type in Word, Excel, Lightroom, whatever, and it finds exactly what you're looking for anyway. So,
well, let's go ahead and close out the show before we have too much more Windows conversation here. We'll leave that for somebody else's show, but we're going to go ahead and close out the show, and then we'll have a little post-show talk about some of that stuff. So until next show, I think we only have one more before you're on vacation, right, Tim?
Correct.
So one more, then we're going to take 2 weeks off while Tim's gone, unless I do one all by myself with somebody. But more than likely, we'll have one and then take 2 weeks off. So until next show, keep it raw. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.